Well, Sean, many congratulations. That's about the perfect afternoon, isn't it?
It's certainly up there amongst the big afternoons I've had in football, because I've been fortunate to get a few. But I'm super pleased mainly for the players. I'm not just saying it, but they've taken on a lot since we've been here. We've demanded a lot from them in many different ways. And I've said to them again today, I said after the game, I said, look, we can only guide you. I've insisted on it. It's you, lads. It's what you do. And the commitment to the cause, to the shirt, everything was on show today. And some quality, of course. You need that. You can't come here and you don't win by luck here. You know, the organisation, the will and demand, the teamship is massively important in these games. And they've shown that in abundance. And when we've needed the quality, they've delivered.
Yeah, I was going to say that. We'll talk about the goals in a moment. But first of all, the hard work. That, you know, it was abundant from minute 1 to minute 100, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, and we expected them, I suppose the good side of being in the Premier League a long time is you learn about games and the way that games can sometimes, it's unlikely you come here, not impossible, it's improbable you come here and dominate the ball. So therefore what you're doing without the ball, if you haven't got it, you better be diligent. And we were super diligent, I thought, to our shape, to our organisation. I mean, defenders blocking, Matt's doing well in goal, looking full of confidence with his hands at the end, clean hands, things like that. These are things that managers notice. But also just the will and demand of a group of people to stay connected and push in the right direction. And I do believe there's quality here, and I think everyone does. And the moments of truth, when you get into the right areas, can you make that pass? Can you find that finish? And we certainly did.
Talk about the first goal then from a corner, which is great to get goals from set pieces. Everybody's doing it these days,
well,
aren't
apparently
they?
It's in trend, on trend. I was never on trend doing that years ago. It was told me I was a dinosaur, but apparently I'm not a dinosaur now, or a young dinosaur now.
Fine finish though, and such an important time to score as well, because you'd have expected Liverpool to have a real go at your first 20 minutes. You've soaked it up, as you've said, worked hard, and then gone and taken the lead. Yeah,
credit to them. I spoke fairly in the week. I know they've still got top players. They've had a tough time. It can happen. And they come off a tough result. I was a bit gutted with a 2-week break playing with them coming off that Man City result, because there's a lot of noise then, and it sort of calms down. So coming here, exactly how the game, not the scoreline, you never know with that. But the early part of the game, I said to the players, I'd be very surprised if they don't come after you really early. We deliberately kicked it. We deliberately backed them off as many times as we can. It's not something I want to do all the time. It's a clear game plan, a tactical organisation game plan from us for the players to deliver, and they absolutely nailed it today. And I'm super pleased with that. They listened. They corrected a style that we don't want to be using all the time, but we used it absolutely fantastically well today to back them off. Stayed in the game with some great blocks and some good defending, and then found our moments, which I do believe this team can find.
Having gone 1-0, it was almost 2-0 straight after, and I suppose it doesn't matter quite so much now, but maybe a bit harsh to have that one.
I thought so. I mean, look, I've seen it back. I'm sure they'll pick the bones out of it rather, but it looks harsh to me. They're saying it's hands, and it either hits them in the shoulder, and they were on about the shirt line, if you remember. I mean, they'll give me a reason afterwards. I'm sure they will seem to find a reason. But we'd have been very, very aggrieved if we didn't get that, and the result's different. But anyways, it didn't matter on the day.
Because the start of the second half, again, I used the word perfect earlier, was perfect, wasn't it, to get that second?
I was so pleased, because I said, look, they're likely to come again. We've got to go again, and we certainly did. Great bit of play. I thought Nico was excellent again today. But his bit of play down the line. What about the finish? All of it. Different reasons. I mean, Morgan's finish. These are good moments. Sav getting up there and scoring a goal. I thought he had a tough first half, to be honest. But he's young. He's learning. He's earning his spurs at this level. And I thought in the second half he handled it very well. So there's a lot to come from these young players, and not just the young ones, but the players they've signed who don't really know much about the Premier League, so they're learning all the time. But I've been super pleased so far, and we've still got injuries to come back. So obviously we want them back as quick as we can. But Igor as well, he's worked so hard. That's why I was gutted for him to not get his goal. But another day will come for him.
And the third goal, you mentioned Morgan's finish, but Amari Hutchinson again, another contribution off the bench like last week against Leeds. Yeah,
he's unfortunate to start, but on the other hand, the team that started did a very good job against Leeds, so I'm not going to start changing when I don't have to. There's very likely to be changes Thursday, but not because I don't want to win that game. Of course I want to win it, but we've got to manage the group. We haven't got enough players, everyone knows that. We've got players who are still injured, and they're probably going to be a bit of time yet. So we've got to manage the group the best we can, but we certainly want that mentality to remain from today, and it spreads quickly amongst the group, and that's important as well.
Final one from me, Sean. We spoke in the build-up about last year's Forest win here, when I know you weren't involved, but we kind of talked about it as being a reference point, a belief point for them in last year's season. This has got to be the same for you this season, hasn't it?
You hope so. I mean, I think, to be fair to the players, I think there's been a bit of belief in the other performances. There's one where we were miles off, but But yeah, of course, when you win it, I call them the superpower clubs. It's not because it's not. By the way, it's definitely not disrespectful to Nottingham Forest Football Club because of the history of this club. But this club's building its way back to them days. These clubs have been doing it a long time. So you have to sort of respect that. So yes, it's a big marker, and hopefully it continues the journey forwards for all of us.
And we also said that the Forest fans will have enjoyed that last year, and you said you hope they enjoy it with you now.
I did.
And they have.
I'm sure they have. I certainly have. Trust me. I don't normally give them a wave because I'm a bit wary about all that, give me a wave and all that. But I did today. The lads were ripping me, actually, because they said it was the worst wave I've ever seen. But anyways, I'm sure the Forest fans will take that today.
Well done. Thanks, Sean.
Cheers.